Greetings. I want to talk with you today about sovereignty. Why is sovereignty important? What is it? How do we use it? And we've been working with this idea of sovereignty for around about 3 months now in the group, and it's powerful stuff. However, when you if you haven't been hanging out in the group, you may never have heard of sovereignty. It may be something that's totally new to you as a concept. And that's why I just wanted to go into it, because when we, just to share a bit about that. So the starting point for sovereignty is to say, I am in charge of my domain. I'm in charge of me, my life. You're in charge of you and your life. And it's kind of very simple. If we were all living on islands and we all had our own island, you get to do what you want on your island, and I get to do what I want on my island. And it's kind of, it's really simple that way around. But of course, we don't live on our own islands. We interact with other people. We connect with other people. We bump into each other. We exist in shared spaces. We relate with other humans. And that gets interesting and juicy. And so what's the difference between a sovereign relationship and a non-sovereign relationship? And how can we make that work for us? How do we use this to enrich our own lives and the lives of those around us? So my first encounter with this was probably as a child growing up. I just had this sense that there were some rules that did not make sense to me. I'm like, why are you telling me what I can and can't do? Say, for example, wearing a seatbelt. Why do I have to wear a seatbelt? Who am I hurting? If I'm not wearing a seatbelt, and if something happens, then who else is being harmed? And I just couldn't find an answer to that. And at the same time, I also knew that if I didn't wear a seatbelt and got pulled over, then there might be some consequences. So the flip side of being at choice and making your own choices in life is, of course, as an adult, you get to deal with the consequences. Actually, as a child, you get to deal with the consequences as well, from pretty early. You do certain things, you get in trouble. You do, you put your hand in the fire, you get burnt. And you got to learn these things. So this is about being practical. This isn't about right and wrong, saying, I should be able to, da-da-da. This is about being real with what works. So yeah, that was probably my first encounter of this sort of feeling of, and I just felt like, why shouldn't I be allowed to do what on earth I want to do, as long as it doesn't stop other people doing what on earth they want to do? And that I never studied any of this, but it just sort of seemed obvious to me as a child growing up. And now, we have even more and more undefined spaces. So Facebook is a great example. And recently I've had this experience of, I love the capacity of being able to meet people you don't know on Facebook and have inspiring, engaging, interesting, informative discussions and connection with those people. And I also had the experience where, so there's this sort of thing of like, hey, people can drop by. People can swing by and contribute and engage if there's a discussion going on. It'd be a bit like if I was in my front garden and a few of my friends had stopped by to have a little chit chat about something, and there was a stranger walking past or a friend of a friend walking past, and they just wanted to get involved in the discussion too, and they said, oh hey, I think this and this. Now in that situation, usually that person would just say their thing and keep on walking, walk on by, carry on. That's cool. You can say your piece. However, they would need an invitation to come in my garden and join the group and join the discussion. And so recently I've kind of been experimenting with what happens if I get a bit, because I want to be open and inclusive to people I may not have met before. But there's a certain basic level of manners and etiquette, and I love it when I can, I love it. I'm really open to having discussions with people who hold different opinions to me. One of us might learn something, And someone I know in real life, you know, yeah, sure, they can come in and say something. However, if you're a stranger to me, if I don't know you, and you come in my space, my Facebook, you might not see it as my space. You might just say, hey, your access is set to public, so I can do what I want in here. Okay. So you come in my space and you know, probably not the people watching this that need to watch it, but, you know, come in my space and be, you know, rude, dismissive, be sort of trivialize things, say things like, oh, well, you would say that because you wear a tinfoil hat or something weird like that. You know, just kind of those kind of comments. I have short shrift for that, and I'm going to throw you out. No hard feelings, but see ya. And don't be getting offended. And if I say to you, hey, add something interesting to the discussion, or leave, my wall, my space, my rules. So I say that with the utmost respect. And then if that offends you, I'm sorry. But that's how I'm going to roll. That's how I'm going to play it. This is sovereignty. So I'm going to trust that you are well able to deal with yourself. And if you feel upset, you're an adult. You can deal with it. So, you know, and I don't care if you consider yourself to be an authority. I don't care if you've got letters after your name. I don't care. It's a human thing. It's a human interaction. This isn't about qualifications. This is about respect. This is about connection. This is about human beings. Okay? So, just want to clear that one up a little bit, because there was an opinion shared from someone that, oh, you're just throwing out everyone that doesn't agree with you. And that is emphatically not the case, as you will see if you look carefully. If you care, you can look carefully through the discussion. And there's people with all sorts of different opinions sharing. I love it when people share their personal opinions. Not so keen on people sharing their hypothetical, what if, ... what if, and coming up with all sorts of fear-based scenarios that aren't even really happening, but they want me to put my time and energy into going. I'm not interested. I'm right here in life. And if I'm enjoying it, I'm going to do it. And if not, I'm going to go somewhere else. And I don't want to put all my focus on what is the worst possible thing that could happen in this scenario. Now, you know, as a sovereign being, you may or may not be open to the fact that your focus is going to create your reality. Now, when I put my focus on all the kind of things I don't want to happen in the world, you know, worrying is praying for what you don't want to happen, is a quite a sweet quote that sums it up. Now, whether or not my thoughts can create, my focus can create my reality, whether or not I can manifest things, I am very open to that possibility. You may or may not be open to that possibility. Now, whether or not that's true, if you demand that I think about something, some scenario that you have fear around, nah, not interested. I don't want to go round the houses searching out all kinds of terrible scenarios that might happen. Now, whether or not I can create that with my thinking, I don't enjoy it. I enjoy focusing on the beautiful things that are happening in my life. I enjoy focusing on having gratitude for the great things in my life. I'm not in denial. If shit's going down, then that's fuel and opportunity to learn and grow. That's how I roll. If something's happening that isn't how I want it to happen, if something's causing me pain or grief or sadness or anger, these are all energy forms that can be unlocked and can be used for powerful growth, for alchemy. And that's what I love. That's what I help my clients with. You know, victimologists need not apply, because from a victim perspective, the world owes you one, other people owe you one, and, you know, we all have to do stuff to make things work for you, even if we don't want to. Now, let's face it, I actually do want things to work for you. all of you, whoever's watching this, I wish that you have an amazing life. I wish that your life is full of beautiful things that make your heart sing. And if not, then change something, right? If you want some help, I'm here. If you would like my assistance, I'm here. But don't be coming in my space with your misery. If you're miserable, we can work with that. But don't be coming in here with your misery, expecting me to get miserable too, because it doesn't work like that. Don't be bringing your just like, nah, I don't want it. And if you want to roll that way, then carry on. If you want to roll that way, then I'm not going to stop you. If you want to, so it's it may come across to some people as being really uncaring, and actually for me it's the opposite, because literally with my hand on my heart, if I see, I love you too much to entertain you as a victimologist, someone who's committed to the science and art of living in pain and living with it being someone else's fault and living in a place where you can't do anything about it. There's always stuff that can be done. And I'm not talking about busy work where you try desperately to create change in your life and nothing happens, really nothing changes. I'm talking about there's always like one of my teachers says there's always action to be taken. There's always action to take. There's never anything to do. So this is an interesting topic, and so I'm experimenting with these ground rules on my Facebook wall, and so what sort of, I want to just touch as well on sovereignty and relating with other people, because this is where it gets. There's a whole load more dimensions. My next encounter with this idea was I was around 21, and I read this book by Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a great book, and it was really the first time that this truth was crystallized for me, that I can actually choose what kind of life I want to have. Now, it's probably old hat to most people watching this now, but you can choose what kind of, you can actually set out and go, hey, this is the sort of things I like in my life. This is what I want. This is how I want to be, this is what the experience I want in my life, and now I'm going to go out and get them. And no one at school ever really engaged me on that. I did well at school and learnt lots, but no one ever said, "What do you want in life? How are you going to go about getting it?" There's one chapter in there. Let's see. I think it's chapter 4, which is think win-win or no deal. So when you're engaging with someone else, the idea is to say, okay, how is this going to be a win for me and a win for you? Because if it's not, I don't want to do the deal. Okay? So what it's saying is that, a victimologist perspective is like, starts with a lose. I'm going to lose, and you're probably going to lose, because the world's a terrible place. So we'll go lose-lose, where we have engaged with each other in a way where we both come off feeling worst. Yuck, don't want that. Victimologists are often in a kind of a lose-win, which is like, oh, I'm going to lose and everybody else wins. Everybody else is going to have what they want, but I won't get what I want. So that's lose-win. And then there's win-lose, which is like the it's like that, fuck you, I'm going to get what I want, and I'm going to take what I, it's like, I'm going to get what I want at the expense of you. You're going to lose and I'm going to win. And of course the final option is win-win. I want to get what I want, and I want you to get what you want. But I'm not talking about like trivial little things. I'm talking about what you really want. So it's much easier when people have some kind of connection to what they really want in life. Some people, it's a full-time job to kind of avoid their pain and discomfort in life, and not up for that one. So anyway, win-win. If you engage with me, I want it to be a win-win, and if it's not working for me, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to make a change. If something's not working for you, talk to me. Talk to me about it. And you know, I really like this idea of sovereignty. And here's the thing. Lots of people claim to be an expert. Bottom line is, the only person who can be an expert in you is you. The only person who can be an expert in me is me. So you tell me what I should or shouldn't do with my body, with my health. If you make sense and you're interesting and I sense that you're there for, you know, you want to give me something as a gift, then I might be open to hearing about it. But don't go claiming to be an expert on me, because there's only one of those, and that's me. And likewise, I might have some insight that I could share with you that could assist and could help. But at the end of the day, you are an expert on you. And let's. What happens if we hang out from that space? What happens if we meet with that as a starting point? No one's broken. No one needs fixing. We are all experts in each of us, right? So I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm really interested in discussing this and you know, but have some respect. Let's engage as, you know, let's like engage. Do as you will. You're a sovereign being, but I invite you to have some respect and engage from that starting point. Yeah. So let's see what happens. Let me know how it rolls for you. How is this idea of sovereignty new, or is it old hat to you? Do you have a different version? Let me know. I'm going to roll. Thanks for watching. Ciao.